May I start with you? Just give us a little overview. You know, the UAE has been taking significant steps, obviously, to reduce single-use plastics, and we were touching on that earlier. Just can you outline perhaps the main policies and regulations that businesses need to be aware of under that umbrella?
Yeah, sure. I believe audience must be aware that UAE government has taken multiple initiatives on single-use plastics, and not only that, Nadia, also single-served products. Like once the product is used, it's going to be disposed. So it all started with in Abu Dhabi by, I think, June 2022, when they introduced the concept of single-use plastic ban with grocery bags. And recently, they have also introduced a ban on styrofoam containers for the hospitality sector. So gradually, they are going to add on into the list, which are not good for the environment. So that's the biggest concern of the UAE government. And you must be aware that also consequently second year, the theme of the year is sustainability. So there's a big concern, and Ministry of Climate Change and Environment also is working on various policies to ensure the plastics gets cut down by almost 50% by 2025, 2026. And as I was talking to you earlier, that government is working on extended producer responsibilities policies, where the brand owners will be held responsible to manage the end of life of the packaging materials. So various initiatives from the government and all the business owners, especially SMEs, must be engaged in the process, must find the alternatives of what are the single-use plastics or non-plastic single-use products, so that we can support the ministry, we can take care of the resources of the Mother Earth, as I always talk to my people. So collectively, it's a big responsibility for all of us, and we have to ensure that we do take care of the resources whatsoever we are using and not further pollute the environment. So a couple of policies are there, and I believe it's being already informed. And another important point, Nadia, is there's a list of products which are banned. So as a business owners, we need to know what are those items which are banned, because those items cannot be imported, it cannot be sold, it cannot be displayed, and even it cannot be distributed free of cost. And very important thing is that non-compliance will result into fines. So as a business owner, SMEs or whosoever are into this space have to be extra careful that we know what are the alternatives, and we ensure that we are following the proper recycling and waste management practices to not pollute the environment. I hope this answers the question.
Absolutely. Some very valid points that you made over there. I'd like to ask both Yuvraj and Parav, because I think it's applicable to both of you. But we'll start with you, Parav. If we look at the single-use plastics in the UAE, what do you see as a singular game-changing opportunity as a business and obviously as a trader, Parav, to sort of align with these government policies within these acts of sustainability and single-use plastics in the UAE?
So Nadia, when this policy got initiated by the UAE government, the bag manufacturers in UAE were very less. You can count on the fingers of that time. But today it is more than 20 within just span of 2 years. So that's an opportunity which we see that, as a trader, as a paper trader, the demand for that craft paper with the FSC certified, with the food grade options are getting the huge demand in this market. So as a business owner, as a paper trader, we see this is an opportunity for banning the single-use plastic, and we are getting that benefit out of it.
Fantastic. Parav, could you add something?
Nadia, I believe that, we need to go to the basic grassroots level of sustainability. We can have beautiful opinions, how to move the world. But at the end of the day, sustainability is something which is 360 degree. I call it as a helicopter view, which means you can get products on the table which are sustainable. But at the end of the day, do we have a recycling industrial unit to properly dispose that off? That's a big question for all of us. In my personal opinion, moving forward, we can put PLA, we can put the best recycled product on the table. But it's all about educating the responsibility of the people, because it's not even if you walk for 20 meters and you have that thing that you're doing something sustainable, that will go a very long way. So at the end of the day, it has to be put together in a way that getting products on the table which are sustainable is half the battle. Actually, putting them in the proper industrial waste is another battle. And we need to really put hard work on that. That's one thing. Second thing, proper labeling. Proper labeling. If I go to a supermarket and if I buy a pack of cereals, for example, it will tell me might be it's 95% fat-free, right? Rest of the 5%, it might have sugar, it might have something else as well. So labeling is very important in terms of PLA and other products which is coming to the market. Are they 100% compostable? That's my question. Because I don't know how many we know about PLA scientific calculation. That can be disposed. It's readily available, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it doesn't get disposed automatically. It takes 6 months. So if you really want to help the mother nature, we need to get proper treatment plans of deposing it, basically.
And I think it's a very interesting point, because labeling, whether it's on packaging, whether it's on food, for many, many years, it's always been a rather opaque area. You know, transparent labeling has really been a thing until it's been pushed by government and by consumers.
I would like to add on what these gentlemen just mentioned, that the local authority named BIA has put the bins and the many other places for the consumers to ensure that we do discard the materials, the packaging materials in the proper way. So somewhere consumer awareness is very important, and ultimately the action by the consumers. I don't know, though I do personally take care of the empty bottles whatsoever I do consume in my home and ensure that it's been put in the recycle bin. So I request all the audience as well that ultimately we all have to take responsibility. And though we call the other day we are talking about extended producer responsibility, but in my opinion, absolute personal responsibility. So if we come to that stage that yes, I am so much concerned and I take my personal responsibility to dispose the materials in the proper way, then only we can win the battle.
It is, and as Parav was saying, it's a very multifaceted approach. You know, it needs to come from the government down. Consumers need to be educated, children from the bottom up, and somewhere in the middle, you have to make it easy for people to actually dispose and recycle and make use of the facilities. So there's a lot of issues there. Please.
Nadia, I would also like to add that, I was just going through something. Mother Teresa, we all know. She quoted actually in terms of sustainability that the only thing which makes me angry and unhappy is the waste. So basically, waste management is a huge topic. A lot of countries all over the world, I will call it as a sleeping giant, basically. It's a sleeping giant. Opinions is one thing, but putting that into action is the main thing. It's our new generation which is coming. In the schools as well, as the gentleman said, that we have a proper segregation systems. But at the end of the day, we really need to focus on the industrial waste management system. Because in the coming couple of years, we might see in the UAE that each and everything is sustainable. We are using it, that's amazing. But how we are decomposing it, it's more important than using it.
It's interesting to hear that you think about the waste management industry as a massive industry in itself. I mean, here we have Dulsco, we have Bayer, we have companies like that. But I'm interested in the fact that you think it's a sleeping giant.
Yeah, I would like to add one part on this. The UAE government has already started taking the initiative on decomposing it as well. They had initiated with 2 or 3 companies already, which I know in Sharjah. They are decomposing the waste as of now for the paper, specifically in a specific manner, that how they should compose the waste. So I believe they would be coming with the other grades as well, for sure.
Can I ask you just on that, when we think about decomposing waste, this is that I guess that I'm not an expert at all, and I guess there's various ways of doing it. But I do remember reading something about using bacteria to decompose waste. Is that actually something, or is that more kind of science fiction? I can't remember where I read it.
Basically, Nadia, each and every material that is in front of you, it has a composition. The composition, the material which is made of. For example, the cups over there in front of us, they have a PE coating. That PE coating is plastic, by the way. If we say that these cups are sustainable, my answer will be no.
No.
That PE coating, it takes approximately 6 to 8 months to, first of all, it cannot be disposed of in terms of Mother Nature. Second thing, if you really need to dispose it off, you need to put it into high temperature with particular machines for a particular period of time.
Right.
Then that's 100% sustainable.
Fair enough. So you've actually got that dichotomy there. I'd like to come back to you, please, Kaunain. You know, with Almarai, you clearly go through an awful lot of plastic with your bottles and for milk and your other products and stuff. So what is so in your product line, what are you doing that directly aligns with single-use plastics with your products?
Well, at this moment, we don't have any system to get those bottles back into the stream to get it recycled. But we are working on the projects with various consultants to have a proper system of getting those bottles or the packaging materials back, or to put somewhere where it directly goes to the recycling stream. So as Parv mentioned that as of today, we don't have a very robust system of collection, segregation and recycling. But I believe going forward, if we do have more robust infrastructure, we'll be in better position to manage such packaging materials, which should not go to the waste, but go to the recycling stream and can be reproduced something else out of that.
Absolutely. Please, Yuvraj.
That's what I was saying. Even if you see in the supermarkets now, like Lulu and all, they have put up the kiosk. Like you come up with the plastic PET bottles, you recycle it and get some points over there. So this is also the initiative from the government side that, you know, they are putting it out the kiosk in the small supermarkets, that you bring out your bottles back which are being used, dispose it off of there, and you will get some award over there. So yes, these steps are there towards it.
There's an incentive there from the consumer point of view to do that. Yuvraj, while I have you here, your tagline, the future is Kagaz. So how do you define that with sustainability? It's an interesting tagline. I'm sure the audience would like to know a little bit more about that.
Sure. Nadia, so the synonym of Kagaz is paper. Kagaz is known as a word in Hindi.
So I'm sorry, I was mispronouncing that. Kagaz, yes, I know. So but I was mispronouncing that. My apologies.
That's okay. So we say future is paper. That's how we are saying that, you know, plastic has to be banned and more of the paper has to be used. But again, if we are using the paper as well, we have to see that proper deforestation has been there. These are the FSC certified. These are the food grade paper. For example, we as Kagaz won yesterday award Eco-Based Friendly Product of the Year yesterday. So, you know, that's how we, for the last continuous 6 months, we had worked towards it. This paper has been made by not a single piece of wood fiber, not a recycled fiber, 100% agricultural waste. So we say waste is a goal for us. That's how we made it. Waste which we're throwing on the road, we had taken out that waste and we had made the paper out of it. So not only to the, you know, it's helping only the nature, but it is always towards the sustainability, towards the farmers as well. That, you know, they are earning more as well. They have more earning from the paper production as well. So that's how we say future is Kagaz.
So the whole chain, all the way down the line, there's a benefit there, and you're being sustainable as well. Excellent. But Parav, you know, let's talk about these sustainable materials. You know, they can sometimes come with a higher price tag, and we've had various discussions here over the last 3 days where price comes into it and plays a large part in consumers' decisions and manufacturers' decisions. So looking at the higher price tag that sustainable materials can sometimes come with, you know, how do you handle that challenge in the UAE, where price sensitivity can be quite an important factor?
Nadia, I strongly believe that there's a very thin line between what you're offering. See, at the end of the day, the sustainability products are part of innovation. And innovation requires time, it requires effort, and it requires money as well.
Of course.
So when you have something sustainable on the table, Initially, first of all, you have a challenge to educate the client. Second thing, the price level. Being a competitive market, which is UAE, yes, price plays it's a game changer basically. I went to a conference 2 weeks before where one of the gentlemen from Spain, he is preparing houses made up of sustainable material in the shortest period of time, which means he can prepare a two-bedroom flat in 6 hours.
That is phenomenal. How on earth does one do that? Very interesting.
We were shocked, but he was a game changer. How? He was making it affordable as well. So our food for thought, putting sustainable things on the table is not the job done. We have to be, the clients and the end users needs to digest this fact that it comes with a cost. Initially, innovations requires cost. So yes, we are facing challenges. I'm sure Yuvraj and again also will agree with me. We face challenges, but at the end of the day, our responsibility is to keep pushing the line, keep pushing the client, keep educating them. At the end of the day, it's not about what are the laws which have been put. It's all about responsibility for the coming generation as well. Cost is putting some barriers for us to sell that product. Of course, if you buy a PET compared to PLA, there's a cost difference. But at the end of the day, whether you are using it for a marketing tool or you are actually into it, that totally depends on whether you're going to achieve that price levels or not.
So does that mean there was manufacturers or suppliers that's going to somehow affect your margins? I mean, does that mean that you need to potentially make less of a margin and the consumer has to pay a bit more and you have to somehow meet halfway? And is that what manufacturers are prepared to do?
Basically, there should be a fine balance, I believe. There should be a fine balance in how much the consumer is paying, because at the end of the day, I'm also a consumer, right? So there should be a fine balance between how much consumer is paying and how much the manufacturers they're charging. At the end of the day, if we only talk about margins, nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. Yes, there's a cost involved in manufacturing something which is innovation. So that's it. It's a cost and which a consumer has to pay. Why? Because it's our responsibility as well to support that effort as well. So yes, as I told you before as well, it's a sleeping giant. Each and every meter that we travel, it has to be with the responsibility. In this room, for example, there's a lot of products, for example, which can be sustainable, but are they 100% sustainable? That's a question mark for all of us.
A big question mark. Now, obviously, pricing, a very emotive subject. I think both of you would like to say something. Please go ahead.
So, in addition to per thing, being a trader, this is a toughest job because manufacturer has their own costing and they have the consumer pricing also set. So as a trader, we have a target, to achieve those price levels as well. Wherein if you see the trends, earlier the commodity, the market used to be for 1 dirham only. When the paper price went up and the costing goes up, it came to 1.5 to 2 dirhams. So people stop taking on those cups now. So what the manufacturer does, they come up with the idea from the 6 ounce, they come to 4 ounce cup. So these are the changes which the industry is also accepting it. We need to be very fair towards the consumer side as well as to the manufacturer side as well. That's the part of the trader we as Kagas play in.
Sure. And please,
just to add on to this, cost is always a tricky element in the whole game. And we always say that ultimately the most important player in the game of business is the consumer. Now, if you ask the gentleman sitting here, how many of them are willing to pay extra if they have been offered the sustainable packaging materials, I am sure a couple of them. From our research, we have observed that the number of such consumers are increasing. We have the data, and they choose those brands who are working to the sustainability, or they are offering the sustainable packaging materials. Also, they are willing to pay extra money. So it's a growing trend, but as a producers or as a brand owners, we have to keep a balance, not putting everything to the consumer's pocket. And we have to have a very collaborative approach to do the innovation, something which brings a value to everyone, including the consumer. Thank you.
Please, go ahead.
I think there's one more valid point which can, put into perspectives. For example, the name of the word is alternatives. Consumer have so many alternatives. When they have alternative, they have a choice how much to spend. When they know how much to spend, they will always go for what you call. If they're really educated in terms of this product is giving them some kind of satisfaction as an emotional effect, then yes, they're ready to buy. But at the end of the day, if we have more alternatives which are, let's say, price levels are really down, they really want to stick to the things which are alternative and lesser in price. So alternative is also one thing which is...
Yeah, definitely. I do agree
And
with
I
you.
think you were going to, I think you would like to add something on the sustainable alternatives. Is that right? Or
Yep. From the consumer's perspective, we always have, a segment of different types of consumers. Some prefer the cheapest possible options. Some are ready to pay extra. So we have to be very clear that what exactly we are offering and which consumer segment and how exactly we are going to add value to them through sustainable solutions or innovation, etc. So we can't say that, okay, all the consumers are the same. But yes, there are different segments and we have to cater to the requirements accordingly by being more innovative.
I'd be interested from your perspective. We talked about, you've just, all three of you said that you have consumers that are prepared to pay the extra to be greener, to be more eco-friendly, to indulge in sustainability. But does that mean that if you go to, that is actually a choice and it's related to income? For instance, in lower income countries, what do you do? And if people don't have the income to be able to afford to pay and make that positive choice, is that something that you see? Is that a valid point or not really?
Yeah, it's a very valid point. Now, just to give an example for the milk packaging, if you see in this region, you'll always find very expensive PET bottles, fancy label, etc. But when you go back to those countries where we can't afford to have such expensive packaging, you'll find the simple poly bag, which is the cheapest option. So as a brand owner, as a consumer, as a producer of certain innovations of sustainable items, we have to be careful that what exactly we are offering to which market, which consumers. So solutions are there. It all depends what's my take, my choice to give the choices to the consumers.
Sure. Yuvraj, sorry, were you going to
I
add?
think the days are changing now as well. People are being, well aware about the sustainability. If you go to a particular family as well, which is having a stable income, they are looking towards it. But definitely there is a large audience as well here in UAE, which is, the income part, if we talk about, is not that as much they can just adopt that changes as well. I believe as a manufacturers, Almarai or some packaging industry would be working towards it. So the larger number of audience can be catered to that as well.
And Kanan, I'd like to come back to you. These plastic reduction policies, what would you say as far as how they affect businesses in the UAE, particularly the SMEs, for instance?
Well, it's basically very, I would like to say that these policies from the government, when they talk about a usage of single-use plastic of a specific types or non-plastic single-use products, both challenges as well as the opportunity. As per mentioned, the cost is the first thing comes to mind. So if I have to produce the sustainable packaging material, I'll have to do some more investment and the unit cost of that material would be high. So as a business, I have to be innovative, smart to find out what could be the alternatives which doesn't cost too much and which offer some values to the consumer. But same time, it gives a good opportunity for the business owners to find the new markets, to have some sort of partnership, collaboration with the other business partners to encourage to use the sustainable packaging materials. Also, I believe there are some financial incentives from the government. They give some tax rebates, etc. So challenges as well as an opportunity if it's being taken smartly, adding on innovation into the process and engaging proactively with the business partners. So I believe from the long-term perspective, it's going to give benefits to the business owners. Yeah, thank you.
Yuvraj,
I agree with him
Yeah.
on this, yes.
please.
Just a small example I want to share. I went on vacation to Japan. So when we went, Japan is of course very disciplined, an amazing place to travel, to explore everything. Trust me, on my second day, I was searching for a bin. In public places, as per my experience, they don't have a bin. On the road itself, they don't have a bin. If you go to any restaurants, for example, they have it because that's for the restaurant purpose. But outside on the road itself, there's no bin. Then I spoke to one of my very close friend who is from Japan. Then he told me it becomes the CSR, corporate social responsibility of each and every citizen to collect their waste and carry them in the bag, go to their house, and behind the house, there's a place where you can keep it. And it's get disposed of as per the government laws. And there's a meter running over there, how much waste you put over there, and you get some incentives in terms of paying your bills and other things. So
That's a very novel.
I think we are still, initiatives are there. They look so promising. That's totally fine. But this level of commitment is required. If you really want to achieve for the coming generation something, this level of commitment is, it's not about the size of the country. It's not about the location of the country. See, UAE has more than maybe 120 nationalities. To put them together, to get them to do something, is not only about putting them fines or something, but at the end of the day, it should be a responsibility, I believe.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And I also remember in Japan, if you see the bins, also you will find it's transparent. So for the consumers, they know that, okay, this bin is for this kind of packaging materials. So yes, the developed countries like Japan has various, but for UAE and other parts of the world, lots of works to be done. But ultimately, the consumers, we all must take personal responsibility. And if it doesn't happen, then we have to struggle. But good to know that this country, government is doing a lot. It's just started the process, and I'm sure one day we can reach to this level, what Prabhu is explaining about the Japan. Who knows, we can do that.
And I'm sure it'll be within our lifetimes.
When we come back to my point again, now the segregation of the waste, what we're talking about, you go to malls, airports and all, you will see the bins separately. These are for the can, these are for the glasses, these are for the plastic. So I believe the initiative is there. It's just we all need to be more attentive and more responsible towards it to attain that goal.
No question. But so just moving on from that, what about the promising sustainable alternatives that the three of you might like to share as far as single-use plastic businesses are here? Do you see any kind of sustainable alternatives that could be?
Yeah, so as per mentioned in the beginning regarding PLA, it's a kind of coating. It's an aqua coating. What you were showing was a PE coating, which has a plastic onto it. But the PLA is one of the alternatives towards it. But yes, again, what Per mentioned, there is a cost attached to it.
Fair enough. Please carry on.
Adding to that, basically, PSQ is working really hard of getting the sustainability alternatives. What PSQ has recently done, we have collaborated with a European manufacturer. What this guy is doing is super interesting. Super interesting. This guy is made up of innovation. Any paper cup that you see, it can only resist temperature, water and everything if it has a thin lining of PE coating. So this guy has done some magic recipe. There will be no PE coating on the cups. Still, they have the residency of keeping the liquid, keeping the temperature and everything. So, and this guy is actually giving cups to Heineken, to Red Bull as well, to Disney as well in US. So these kind of initiative, we are working super closely with them. And we are more excited than them. You know what I mean? Because these are the game changers.
And is that technology viable right now? He's obviously producing and supplying to the likes of Disney and Heineken and stuff. So and is that something that you can use over here, or that you are using here, or how do you see that working?
Exactly, Nadia. The thought process is basically they have manufacturing units in all the different locations of the world. So it is accessible to everybody to put that into their whatever supermarkets or coffee shops or wherever. So yes, this is very viable. Because this PE coating thin lining, it takes almost, I told you before, 6 to 8 months of decomposing, and it doesn't decompose automatically. It takes 8 months. So that thin lining is getting removed. So this is kind of innovation that, this is the way forward.
It is, as you say, a game changer, really, isn't it? Please.
Yeah, I'll echo the sentiments and statements of my colleague here in the panel. By the way, PLA is bioplastic made from plant-based resources. So it is always safe and easy to get biodegraded. Everything is possible to get biodegraded, but it's just a matter of time. So some takes millions of years, some few months, etc. But our focus is to use the single-use products which can be easily biodegraded. So as far as the alternatives are concerned, paper and the paperboard materials are the first choice. And good to know that many local companies here in UAE, they have started production. And biodegradable plastic is another good alternative as PLA based, and also the sucrose and sugarcane, etc. There are various materials, innovations are happening there. And here in UAE, what I know, couple of companies, they have also started producing cutlery, etc. from the waste palm leaves. That's another innovation.
Right.
There's a company they have established. They're producing the fork and the spoons and from the palm leaves.
And that's locally sourced, really, isn't
Locally
it?
sourced. Also, I was going through the stalls. I found various fabric-based materials. That's another alternative, which bit trendy and popular among the youngsters. And glass-based materials, also the bamboo-based materials, even the metal containers are various alternatives. Also, very good alternative is the refillable systems. Dubai government have launched the Dubai can. So if you have the empty bottles, go and fill with the water and consume it instead of buying the new bottles. So alternatives are there, but as Paul mentioned, that it's all about our responsibilities. Like if I am having the empty bottle, am I going to throw or I am going to refill and consume it? So ultimately, it's up to us,
Of course.
consumers, to be sensitive and to be committed and aligned with the philosophy of UAE government, the bigger agenda of sustainability, etc. Whatsoever minimum we can do, we must do.
You're right. Would you like to add something?
What my colleagues were saying regarding the bamboo cutlery is also there in this market now. As Kagas Trading, we are working towards it as well. As we mentioned in my last conversation, eco-based, which is made of 100% agricultural waste. Even the cutlery is coming, which is made of 100% agricultural waste. No plastic, no paper, no recycled fiber has been used. So the innovations are there. It's just we have to adopt it the right time, the right audiences.
And, sorry.
Just to add a couple of lines onto this, any packaging solution that we have and we want to have, it needs a bonding agent. That bonding agent can be plastic because it's a great bonding agent. Plus, at the same time, agriculture waste, for example, agriculture waste, first of all, we're doing something for the environment, and it has an amazing properties for bonding. So when it comes to packaging, it really helps as a very good alternative.
And just linking to that and moving on slightly, how can businesses ensure that compliance with the UAE's regulation on plastic usage and waste management? And are there any specific gaps in the current policies that you think the government could address to better support businesses in adopting those sustainable practices? Go ahead.
I think just a quick one for me on this. All the waste which is collected within UAE, it has a proper planning where the waste is going, how it's going to be segregated. But at the end of the day, when it comes to industrial decomposing, what you call infrastructure, I think there is still one more step to go ahead in terms of getting more facilities than that. Normal paper waste, other waste which is getting collected, it is all sorted. It is sorted perfectly. UAE doing wonderful well. But when it comes to industrial waste, those kind of things, we still need to put that into action. So all the new sustainable products are decomposed perfectly.
And are the regulations already there for the industrial sector as well? And are they being enforced? Or
I believe it is there, but again, we need to be, make sure that it has been educated to almost everybody. It is not responsible just for the companies as well. It is responsible, again, we are coming on the same topic, to the individuals as well. Because in the company, you spend a very small time of time. Then you are at home, you are on the road as well. I've seen people, someone throwing on the road itself the bottle. So it is our responsibility as well, how to collect it. Government plays a bends on the roads, but it's our social responsibility to be adhering to those policies as well.
and
Yeah, just to add on this, when we talk about compliance and when we talk about businesses or SMEs or the owners, I believe it's very important to have clear understanding what exactly policies are, what are the facilities available, and what are the action I am supposed to take. Same time, also there should be clarity between the policies of government, UAE government as a whole. Also, the different Emirates have different strategies, different policies, different infrastructure. Like if you be in Dubai, you have to behave differently. But when you go to Ajman or Sharjah, it's a bit flexible. So as a business owner, complete clarity is very important, and understanding what exactly I am supposed to do. Same time, the recycling and the waste management practices, which are a bit common, as a business owner, we must practice. Like if I am producing some industrial waste, it's my responsibility to find out what is the best way to dispose it of. So that's the way we can help the country, we can help the government, we can help the regulatory bodies to support. And other important things for the from the business's perspective, if you talk about the producer of plastics, they have the expertise in the production of plastics bottles. So they must hire some experts in the compliance. They must have some sustainability expert, or sometime they can hire some consultants to support them. So having clarity what exactly is required to be done to support the government, also how exactly we can do it is very important. Otherwise, we will be lost. No clarity what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to do, then we can't help the government.
And I think you touched on a very important point, that whether it's a business or whether it's as consumers, the overall kind of federal regulations don't necessarily make it easy. As you pointed out, you can do one thing in Dubai, but in Sharjah or Ajman, the regulations are different, the colours are different, the how things are implemented, which makes it difficult to have an overall umbrella.
Yeah, another important point, if I'm a business owner, I must engage my employee as well. The employee should be trained. They should know why I'm implementing certain policies and how it's going to help the company.
Of course.
As well as the consumers. If I'm producing some sustainable materials, I must go and tell consumers, gentlemen, this is for this reason and it's going to help all of us together. So we have to work collaboratively in different ways to achieve the target or objective and support the government, the broader agenda of sustainability.
Yuvraj, please, did you want to add something?
Adding on to the same point, we as a business owner, we always try to adhere to the policies given by the government, specifically when we know there are the fines towards it. So it should not just to be the fines, it should be towards the society as well. We got scared that today the municipality can come and bring the fine as well. But we should not just look on the fine side, we should look on the society side as well. That, if we just, adhere to the policies, it is not just to adhere to the policies what they had mentioned, but it is due to some reasons. What he said, that, to the employees, it should be communicated very clearly what is the use of these policies. Then I believe the society will also understand and take it further in a positive note for that.
And just looking a little bit forward, if we move on to looking at any economic opportunities potentially that might arise from taking on these sustainable practices in response to this, what do you think?
So, as a trader, I mentioned earlier as well that 2 years back, the number of bag manufacturers were very less. Today, it is almost 20. So, that's economic opportunity what we have as a paper trader, Kagas Trading, that we are coming with the solution for the paper bags and we're able to adopt that market changes as well very quickly. So this is something which is, as a paper trader, I believe Pav would also agree that these are the opportunities, economic opportunities which we see as a paper traders over here.
And Kanan, I think you might have something to add on that as well.
What I have observed, if you see the way UAE government has taken the initiatives, it has already established its credential in this region that someone is taking care of the environment, someone is taking care of the resources of planet Mother Earth. So that itself is a very positive impact to brand UAE or brand Dubai, you can say. So various new customers are coming into this region and new investors are coming into the region. But from the business owner's perspective, I think it's all about the brand loyalty. Because for the businesses, it's all about the customers, the consumers. So if we take certain initiatives which effectively we can communicate to the consumer, the gentleman, this is for the benefit of you. This is for the benefit of your generation. This is for the benefit of we all together for the planet Mother Earth. So when we engage them, convince them, then automatically we can generate more revenue and more loyal consumers. And from the long-term perspective, I believe when you be the part of a greener economy and align yourself with the agenda of this government, this country, I believe it's a big projects and many other things are going on. Then from the long-term perspective, it's going to be very useful from the economist perspective, I believe.
Now, Parav, we've still got 15 minutes left. I'd like to leave some time for questions as well. But with your experience in the industry, or many years of experience, if you look into the future, do you have any suggestions to sort of what additional support or policy changes would you suggest to help companies like yours accelerate that transition away from single-use plastics?
Basically, Nadia, I think when it comes to business, we are always looking at our balance sheets. We are always looking how much debt, credit, whatever we have, how to run the business, how to be sustainable in the business in terms of their survival as well. But at the end of the day, there should be a proper compliance in terms of a proper team, depending on the size of the company. For example, if the size of the company is good, that means from top level to the bottom level, there should be at least a couple of people assigned in terms of processes. See, at the end of the day, I'm going a little out of the topic.
No, please, we have time.
Okay. So basically, each and every processes as a business owner should be sustainable. Whatever movement we are doing in our business should be sustainable. Our employees should be sustainable in terms of their salaries, their food, their living style, their education, everything should be sustainable.
So it has to permeate right the way through.
Yes. Then you create an environment. Where you are moving towards a sustainable growth and the society. You know what I mean? So yes, single-use plastic and all these things, a proper department should be there in a company. And if you cannot have a department, at least have one person assigned. As the gentleman said, if you cannot assign a person, have some consultants who can help your company to move forward. If you don't have a consultant as well, as a leader of your business, you should take that initiative in educating. Each and every corner of a manufacturing unit should have such things sustainable. Trust me, that kind of journey can go a very long way.
And it is. There are so many degrees and companies that have been set up in the last 10 to 15 years, all focusing on sustainability programs, really, aren't there? And Yuvraj, please carry on.
I would like to add on regarding the suggestions you asked for. I will really recommend Paperworld as well. The way you had given us the policies, how to bring out the stuffs, how to dispose it off. So these are the proper guidelines given by the Paperworld, as you know, a kind of business owner over here. So same way should be implemented into our organizations as well. Policies should be written, clear, defined, roles and responsibility of each and every individuals.
Yeah, makes sense. And paper is a wonderful material. When we talk about the world of sustainability, I believe everyone should try to find out what exactly would be the best replacement of plastic through paper.
And I was going to ask you, actually, just if you would elaborate on that, Kaunain. What advice would you give to businesses who are looking to transition from, to a plastic-free or reduced plastic models, particularly here in the UAE?
Well, the advice would be do the proper assessment of your current practices or the plastic usage throughout your value chain, supply chain, from your operation to packaging whatsoever you're offering. So where exactly you are using plastics, first identify those areas, those points, and then find out how plastic reduction of that specific point in the supply chain or the value chain or your operational activities going to be impactful to you. So suppose if you are using a plastic which can be replaced by the paper boxes or the paper boards or the paper sheets, then do the assessment that yes, if I remove 1 metric ton of plastics by replacing paper board, we are going to help in preserving so much energy and everything from our planet Earth. So that assessment is very important. So assessment, then identify those areas where you can really make impact, and then do some research by finding what are the alternatives which are sustainable. Contact your suppliers, collaborate, find out how you can replace those plastic with other sustainable materials. And then it's very important to implement those alternatives effectively. And after implementation, inform your customers that, gentlemen, we are doing this because of these reasons, and these are going to help. Yes, if there is a cost involved, discuss with them. Sometime if you give the proper reason, we as a human being, we understand the rational thoughts. And if you convince that, gentlemen, we are talking about the next generation, we are talking about preserving the natural resources of the earth, I believe we can convince, and some extra amount has to be paid. It can be paid. So a proper assessment is very important. Understanding of plastic usages are very important. The replacement of those plastics with the other better alternatives are very important. And implementation makes a sense. If we don't implement, doesn't make sense anything.
And I guess that's where an exhibition like this, Paperworld, where you have got so many industry leaders, the innovative ideas, is important, because you can then come and talk to people here in one place to look at those alternatives to plastic and to become more sustainable. Just here, fantastic opportunity. Please, you.
So as my colleague started that, paper is a beautiful product, which is a replacement of plastic. And as I mentioned earlier, the bagasse is the best solution towards it. And he mentioned about the assessment. So that's how we did the assessment for last 6 months, that how the bagasse is useful over here. And we had converted towards it. Same way, other industry leaders has to think onto it. What are the options for them? What they can do onto that? And there are several options available for each and every category if we talk about. Maybe it is a coating plant, maybe it is using a foam instead of a paper. There are options available, but it's just that we have to invest time, money, and the industry leaders over there to think over it and get involved into it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for those inspiring words to end that panel discussion. Really enjoyed it. My thank you go out to Yuvraj, Kaunain, and Param for your time and your experience. Absolutely.